Well, we're getting lots of Jake's clips here this morning without actually talking to Jake. Do I have you now, Jacob?
Yeah, hi, how are you guys?
Oh, right on.
See, this is just like you. You come back, you still come back strong. The phone line's dead. We don't know what we're doing. And then you come back again. This is sort of like playing for the Steelheads.
Yeah, it is. It is sort of like playing the Steelheads a little bit.
Now, I'm just really curious, too. When you have to play Barrie, being a Barrie guy, do you feel good when you beat them? Do you feel a little bad? Do you look up and see Dale and go, geez, I'm really sorry, but I'm better than your guys? Like, how do you feel about that?
No, honestly, beating Barrie in Barrie is probably one of the best feelings. It was coming into the year as a 16-year-old rookie, and, they never really took it too easy on us whenever we played them in Barrie. So when I got my first win there, I know I was really happy, and going back with some of the Colts, I had some history with them. I went to Blythe Academy when they were there, and Dale Howardchuk was actually our hockey coach at the school, so I kind of know him and Ben Howardchuk pretty well, and some of the other players that came up through that program.
Well, right now, you mentioned Barrie. You're in a pretty interesting race right now, and I got to be honest, a lot of teams that kind of have to make wholesale changes and lose a guy like Owen Tippett. You just really never know what's coming back the other way. But right now, this is a year where you're not supposed to technically be pushing towards the upper echelon in the Eastern Conference, but you are. So I'm just curious from your standpoint, what do you see happening in front of you? What is that like?
Yeah, obviously coming into the year, we didn't really have the greatest expectations from a lot of outsiders looking in on us, and kind of looking into the year we had last year and all the great players that we lost, like Mike McLeod. Obviously, again, a little bit of games in the NHL and that, but being looked upon as an underdog, I think in Mississauga, that's something that we really thrive on. And I know in my first year we were ranked 20th, dead last, and we came back to go all the way to the OHL final. So I know we have it within us, and it's cool. Losing Ryan McLeod and Owen Tippett at the deadline, obviously two huge names across the OHL and that. So it's tough, but we got Aiden Pruder and Duncan Penman and some good draft picks coming back, and we've really started to bond together and kind of play as a gritty team, and we kind of know our role. Like, we're not really as much of a skill team anymore, and we got to find wins, and we've been really pulling them together and stringing them along lately.
Yeah, I certainly have. We're in conversation with Jacob Ingham. He was named the OHL Player of the Week, posting a 3-0 record alongside a 126 goals against, a save percentage of .956. If you can reflect back on the week to us, when you consider back-to-back wins against the Ice Dogs and then the following night the 67s, just massive points for you and your team. What did you like about those games, considering that was the upper echelon of the OHL right now?
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. Of course, having Liam Ham, who used to play for Niagara Ice Dogs, that was a real big one that we really wanted to get for him. And, all the guys really kind of came together and really fought hard for that. And, we didn't really stop. We had Otto the next night, and, we played a really good game. The boys played really solid in front of me, and then we took it in a nice shootout win, which is always pretty special. It's always pretty special when you beat the top team in the Eastern Conference. And, it's a game where people don't really expect you to pick up points in. And obviously with the tight race we're in, where we can get some points from some really good teams and kind of make a statement around the league that we're legitimate and we're still pushing for a real high playoff spot.
Well, I would say that last weekend was very, very successful, obviously playing some teams that were, as coaches like to say, a measuring stick. You're playing the Oshawas of the world, the Ottawas of the world, Niagara. So coming up this weekend, there's a couple of teams that would be the opposite. But I think that's where you've got to be a little careful, simply because you don't want to fall into that trap game category.
Yeah, that's for sure, especially with playing Windsor and that, obviously coming off two real hot games. And, they're looked upon to be in a playoff race too. And, everyone's really in the playoff mode right now, and it starts really early. But coming into this week, we got Hamilton tomorrow, which will be a really, really big game because they're pretty tight with us in the standings, and I think they're only a couple points back. So pretty much a 4-point game for us and them. And so that'd be real big to go into the rink and get 2 points, and then continue on to Kingston on Friday and continue to get our 2 points, and then hopefully go down to North Bay and have a really good game, and then get another 2 points in North Bay and have another successful weekend.
Jacob, I have to ask you about this. We talked to a lot of players throughout the OHL. I'm from Western Canada, so the WHL as well. You were selected by the Los Angeles Kings, 6th round, 175th overall. Just a massive accomplishment. Where were you when you received the call from the Kings? Who called you? And obviously that's something you're probably going to remember no matter where your career goes. NHL, Europe, doesn't happen, whatever happens, something big. You'll always remember that. What do you remember about that you can tell us, and where were you when you got the call? Who called you, and how did that work out?
Yeah, so I was actually at the draft in Dallas. I went down with my whole family, and one of my best friends, my cousin, was down there with us, and so we were down at the draft, and kind of just waiting through the whole day, and we were there for the first round. They put on a pretty incredible event. The NHL does, and just being able to be there and witness the first round and kind of see Rasmus Dahlin get drafted, and having the same agent and that, I know him decently well, so it was really cool seeing all those guys that and seeing guys that you grew up play minor hockey with get drafted too, and then the next day it was a little bit longer for me, and so kind of going through the day, just kind of waiting to hear my name, and it was getting a little anxious towards the end, but being there and then just hearing Jacob Ingham from the Sauga Steelheads and that, it was pretty incredible. Shot up right away and hugged my parents and really thanked them for everything that they've done for me. And if it wasn't for them, obviously I wouldn't be in the position I was to have that much success. So it was pretty incredible. And then kind of just going down to the floor and meeting everyone from the LA Kings system, and obviously they greeted you pretty well, and then pretty much you go in and take all your photos, and then they're booking me a flight for development camp the very next day.
That's awesome. How was that, and your experience at training camp? Were you invited to main camp, and how did that go, considering you got one of the best goaltenders in the league and Jonathan Quick in the organization? Was there any interaction, or do they separate the groups when you get a decent amount of goaltenders on the ice? There's only 2 nets out there.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, we had development camp, and then leading into main camp in the summer, we went down a little bit early. We went down, I think, September 5th. We flew down, and we kind of had a rookie tournament. So we were in LA for a couple of days practicing and getting our legs ready, and then building a little bit of structure. And then we flew out to Las Vegas, and we played a little bit of a rookie tournament, played 3 games in that. And then we came back, and then we practiced for a couple more days, and we had a day off, and then main camp started, and then that's kind of when you get a little starstruck, and guys like Ilya Kovalchuk are out there, and obviously Jonathan Quick, one of the best goalies in the game for sure right now, and all that, and you kind of see all those guys, Kopitar and Drew Doughty, all that, and we were in a little bit of a different situation. I was in a lot of the rookies were in the group C of the main camp, and so we're a little bit hidden away from those guys, but there's not too many NHL guys that were in it, but you definitely get a lot of opportunity to skate with them, and you don't really you get to pick their brains a little bit. I know a guy that was really good about that was Dion Phaneuf, and he was really really good to all the rookies and kind of took us under their wing and kind of just asked us if we needed anything, made sure we were all okay, and kind of just gave us the lay of the land, a little bit of feel out how the room is, and kind of just what everyone expects from you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, the reputation, and I'll be honest, guys like Martin Jones, who I knew, Brandon Kozin, who also went through the Kings organization. Yeah. They play out in Manchester for a while, but they've all gone their separate ways. Whether it's Brandon over in the KHL, but obviously Martin Jones has made himself a career as an outstanding goalie. But I'm just curious, during some of the practice or the skates, if a goal was to get by Jonathan, would you just kind of skate by and say, "So not so quick then"?
Yeah, no, I don't know if I'd ever say that to him. I'd start with Mr. Quick, how's your day going? And want some water or anything like that. But not too sure.
Well, Jake, thanks so much for joining us for Well, the second or third attempt, but whatever it took us here at the new studios, we appreciate it. Your play has been just fantastic. Well, and I know your coach is going to be on tomorrow, and we're certainly going to talk about the great play and just the great attitude. So thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, Jakey.